Howdy Asa, it's Saturday. So first I wanted to say I really liked your video, week in review. Um, we should start doing that. That should be a thing. I think I'm going to do that where my Saturday video is kind of more of a summary of how my week was. Um, Although this week I'm not going to do that because yesterday was kind of just a ranty how I am video, and then the rest of the videos will be focusing on actual things. So I went to college group yesterday, church college group, and I wanted to talk about something from it. So I have a verse that I'm going to read part of. So this is Philippians 2, verse 3. Don't allow self-promotion to hide in your hearts, but in authentic humility put others first and view others as more important than yourselves. Paul writing to the Philippians. I'm going to call them the Philippians, even though I don't know their actual term. So, pride is something I assume most people in the world struggle with. So in the past, my strategy has always been, don't think about it. Because if you're thinking about pride, then it's almost like you're patting yourself on the back for calling out yourself for being prideful, which in a way is prideful, because all of a sudden you start thinking, wow, look at me, I'm so good, I'm not being prideful. It's confusing, and yet yesterday, when I talked about it in a group of college students, I really realized that kind of that way for everyone. Most things that God calls us out to do, they're very cut and dry. Love people might be hard, but it's pretty easy to see how you love people. Like, what's right is pretty clearly defined. But when it comes to pride, it's such a intention thing. I could never before put my finger on why it was difficult. Don't allow self-promotion to hide in your hearts. And I really like that. I really like that wording. I really like that message. Because it calls you out, and it in a very non-specific way, it almost tells you what getting rid of pride is supposed to look like. Pride isn't, like I said, easy to define, but if you think about it as hiding in your heart, then I think you can see it. Once you start to realize that pride is not about the thought, but more about the intention behind those thoughts. So I could think I did really well in a math test. And you know what? That's okay. I think the best lesson Dad ever taught me was you're allowed to be proud of the work you've done, of the effort you've done in something, and what you eventually accomplished. But pride has a way of infecting your heart. You can be proud about something, and that doesn't envelop who you are, how you think, how you act. But pride does. Pride hides in your heart. It makes you not only think, wow, I did a good thing there, but it makes you think, I'm better than that person. I'm better than these other people. I'm clearly doing great and fantastic, and I'm awesome. Don't allow self-promotion to hide in your hearts. And I think that's really what pride comes down to. The poison in your heart. Being proud is a momentary recognition and appreciation of what you've done. Pride is a poison that lives in you, that affects all of your thoughts, that makes you think not only, hey, I did that one good thing, but makes you think, I always do good things, I always do great things, other people aren't as good as me. It's taken me a long time to realize that. Also kind of called me out, because I think in a way by saying, before I told, like I said earlier, my flawed view on pride was, don't think about it, because thinking about you being prideful and calling yourself out mentally for that makes you prideful, and you just kind of have to stop it there. But that really called me out to think of that's really a band-aid solution, to think, hey, I'm being prideful, stop. And now I can't think about it anymore because I'm going to be prideful. So I think last night God really spoke to me and said, that's not how you're supposed to go about doing this. Here's what it actually is. Here's how you start to recognize pride not as that thought, hey, I did a good thing, but when that envelops you, when that becomes ingrained in you, when it lives in your heart. Anyway, Asa, sorry for the heavy, weird, deep topic. I felt like I had to make up for 2 days ago, but just, that really spoke to me. And I remember talking to you vaguely about that idea, and us coming to agreement on pride being a difficult thing to deal with. And I thought that just brought a lot of clarity to me. And hopefully it helped you or someone else watching this. Or maybe it helped no one. And it was just a way for me to solidify my newfound view on pride. But anyway, I will see you on Monday.